Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, and we're looking at a lot of situations in the world and in the news today. First thing I want to do is I want to start the charts right here and get right at it. First thing we're going to look at is silver price today. 14.75 today. It's not going much of anywhere yet. I say yet. The dollar's going to be getting in trouble pretty soon. And I'm going to explain to you guys why. And when we see the dollar getting in trouble, we're going to see gold moving up. And we're going to see gold moving up. We're going to see silver moving up. And it's coming very soon. Take a look now at gold. 13.30. She's up $3.70 on the day. It's nice to see it above the $1,300 mark at the very least. Now let's move on and let's take a look at Bitcoin today. Bitcoin is at 79.62. And what we're looking at is Bitcoin's price 79.62. It's just under the $8,000 mark. It's up 2.32% on the day. But basically, it's not ready yet for the next leg up. And so what we're seeing is we're seeing the price action going along kind of sideways. But take a look at this. Cryptocurrency market capitalizations, and something I want to show you in here. Market cap 257 billion right now. Bitcoin dominance 55.3%. But I want to show you guys what Litecoin's been doing. $138.69. Talk about a nice comeback. But I'll tell you what's happening with Litecoin right now. They are just starting to price in the halving. What the halving is the Litecoin network, right? They're going to have the block reward. So right now they get 25 coins. Or is it 12 point? I think they're moving from 25 to 12.5 coins per solved block. And what that means is only half as many coins are going to be coming into the market. Now, when you cut supply on something by half, like say silver right now, say the miners only got half as much silver as they used to. Well, the silver price would go up. Well, it's not surprising that the Litecoin price is going up because a halving occurs in just a little bit over like a month and a half or something like that from now. It's not very long from now when they have the blockchain and the miners' reward's going to be cut in half. So we're seeing the price surge up, and I see it's continuing to surge up even higher. I think it's very possible it could break $200 per Litecoin in the near future, even before Bitcoin takes off again. That's entirely possible because they're pricing it in right now. To wait till the last minute and then buy your Litecoin at the halving because they'll have already priced it in. Dow Jones Industrial Average today. Let's refresh the page and we're going to get a look at this. It's down 20 points on the day. You know, the enthusiasm over the Fed cutting rates is starting to wane. And I'm going to tell you what. They've priced it in already. This little bounce we see here on the end, they've priced in not one Fed rate hike cut, but several Fed rate hike cuts have been priced in. And that's what made the market was starting to roll over. She went all the way down to 24,815. Well, she shot back up to 25,983 on hopes that the Fed is going to cut rates. Not once, not twice, but at least 3 times. You know? And I think the Fed's coming around, and I think they're going to shock them. I think they're going to hold, and they're not going to do anything. That's what I think they're going to do. Because one of the things is consumer inflation is, I think, turning over a little bit right now. And also, they have to support the banks. Their main mandate of the Federal Reserve is to support the banks. You know? I'm going to tell you what. I think they really want to raise rates. To be honest, the Federal Reserve wants to raise rates right now. They'd love to raise rates. You know, they're dreaming about raising rates. But you know what? cutting rates, is what the market wants them to do, and what the market expects them to do. And so between these being tugged this way and being pulled that way, it's like a tug of war. I think that the Fed's just going to sit. Right now, the Fed's scared, to tell you the truth. They're like a bunny rabbit that's caught in the headlights. And so this is going to tend to move more toward the tendency that they just want to sit. And so that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to sit. But they might make one token 25% or 25 basis points rate cut to lower the rate. They might lower it by 25 basis points. I don't think that's going to satisfy the market, to tell you the truth. This market, we're heading into a recession, and there's deflationary pressures moving in. Let's take a look now at oil prices. $1.12 down. Now that's quite a big drop. 52.15, a 2.10% drop. I'm keeping my eye on a lot of situations in the world. It's almost like right now, it's almost like a guy who's got a juggling act, and he's juggling all these balls, and they just added more balls, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. What's going on in the world. There's so much going on right now, so many problems. One of the things I want to talk about just very briefly is, I'm not gonna do the Ebola update on this channel anymore. I'm moving it over because the Ebola has just spread from the Congo into another little African country right next door, But it's a growing situation. I'm going to be covering it over at my other channel. My other channel is called Glenn Travels America. I'm going to put a link in the description. And I'm going to try to do accurate coverage, newsworthy coverage of the story over there, because this story needs to be covered. And there's an awful lot of these people on YouTube right now who are doing false covering. I'm not going to really call it false covering, but it's like they're trying to panic everybody. You know what I mean? They're trying to scare everybody. And I want to do some accurate coverage of the story, not fear mongering. Accurate information over at my other channel on this developing story of Ebola. So I'm going to do it over there. And I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to join that channel. But I'm going to be doing updates at least twice a week on Ebola over there, Anyway, not on this channel. Because this is a channel that's designated for financial news right here. And I'm trying to keep you guys up to date on a very bad developing situation in the financial system that could be a crisis pretty soon. Let's take a look now at U.S. Treasuries. The crisis is kind of starting in the Treasury market, but with this yield curve inversion, and the yield curve inversion is getting a bit worse today. The only real holdout in this yield curve inversion is the 30-year, and it's the only one that's moving up today. It's 2.62%. But we see the 10-year. The 10-year is part of the yield curve inversion at 2.13%. And the short end is a lot higher than the 10-year. So we see the yield curve inversion is continuing. And it's not getting better. Today it's actually getting worse. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. We're about ready to see some weakness come into the dollar pretty soon. And part of it is a realization that the Fed is in a trap, and the Fed can't really do a whole lot right yet unless they go into some new monetary policies and stuff that they're only going to go into after the crisis starts. People, it's starting to dawn on investors that all these promises by the Fed made a lot of promises. They said, okay, we're going to normalize interest rates. Well, now they're talking about cutting interest rates. Well, in order to normalize interest rates, they got to raise interest rates. And so they can't do that. And also the inabilities by the Fed to fulfill their promises. They promised to balance their balance book through quantitative tightening. well, they're going to have to end that program. And they might have to actually turn around and go back to easing. This shows that the system is addicted to cheap, easy money. And the thing is the Fed cannot break that addiction now. It's almost like a cigarette smoker. You know, he decides, okay, I'm going to quit. His wife says, oh, great, you're going to quit, you know. And the very next day she says, what are you doing, smoking again? He couldn't quit. Tries over and over, he can't quit. You know, he don't know he can't quit until he actually tries it, and it's proven he can't quit. So it's all big talk. The Fed's all big talk. Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Now it's finally starting to be proven that they can't do this and they can't do that. Had to be proven. It had to be proven. Let's take a look now at this article by Zero Hedge. Huge damage being done to world trade right now by this trade war, and they're saying now that the damage could very well be irreversible. Trade war between the United States and China is on the brink of re-escalating once more, a journalist told ABC News and CBN News Philippines that damage to global supply chains from the trade war might be irreversible. And now President Trump is threatening to slap even more tariffs on Chinese exports to the United States. He made conditions. He said if President Xi Jinping doesn't come to the G20 meeting in Osaka on the 28th and 29th of June, then I'm socking these tariffs in there. But the damage the tariffs have created, it says even if the tariffs are reversed and the damage itself is irreversible, this is like a massive oil tanker, and since it's begun to shift directions, begin to shift course, it can't go back the way it used to be. And so this damage to you got to understand, it was tariffs that caused the Great Depression, or part of the reason why. Other things were going on during the Great Depression. One of the things was margin loans. Everybody's buying into the stock market on margin. Well, it's the same thing now. It's just a little bit different. It's corporations are basically doing exactly the same thing that the public was doing. And it's just as big a money in the stock market. And so when the turnaround comes, it can be just as big a fall on the other side of this. Thank you guys for listening to this market report. And remember to go to the links in the description. Find my channel, Glenn Travels America, and just go there and sub, you know, because that's where I'm going to keep keeping you guys up to date on this developing situation of this Ebola. I'm going to tell you what, this economy and everything, Ebola couldn't have come along at a worse time and a worse place than in a war-torn area in the middle of Africa, and there's a lot of confusion and stuff in Africa. They're going to get the thing under control. But how big is it going to get before they get it under control? That's the big question. I'm going to be trying to answer that over there. I'm going to keep on top of the situation over there, but with reports probably at least twice a week. You know, good, accurate reports. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to search the mainstream news stories. So I'm going to be quoting the mainstream news over there very accurately on their coverage of the topic, but also I'm going to be doing in-depth research into all of the aspects of this particular disease, but over there at the other channel. So listen, thank you guys for listening, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.